Hello again, YouTube. Welcome back to RJ's Workshop. I'm RJ. Today I want to talk to you about storing TIG welding filler rod. I currently have 7 different types of sizes and types of filler rod that I keep here, and I've got some homemade containers that I've got some store-bought containers. Today I'm going to show you some different ways to store your rod and why some designs work better than others for different applications. Let's bring you in and show you what I got going. Alright, so as I said, have it on. Look at that. Alright, as I said, I do currently keep on hand 7 different types of rod. I've got 2 different ER70-6, I've got 16th and I've got 3/32. Right now I've got 40-43 aluminum, again 16th and 3/32. I do have a small amount of 308L, I don't remember what size. And then I have some 309L for welding dissimilar metals, and then I've got some TIG braze rod, some silicon bronze. So I've got small quantities of the silicon bronze and the 309. I don't use this very much. Actually, I've probably only used 1 piece of this so far, so I've only got a 1-pound container. The things that I use a lot, I've got larger. So these are tubes that I've made before. These are out of 2-inch PVC. And just to give you an idea, the cap screws on the end. And you can see, hopefully, so that's just under 10 pounds of 1/16 rod in there. So it'll give you an idea how much you can fit in a 2-inch PVC. The goal for me for this project is just to have a durable container that's pretty much watertight. And where I store my TIG rods right now is spread across the 2 points on my bench. So right now the the cardboard boxes aren't falling apart. This tube actually works pretty good. That's sealed up nicely. But this is an air gas Radnor. The container breaks at the middle right away, so not really watertight anymore. Grease, oil, things like that can get in there, so I don't really want that style. You can buy commercially available sleeves like this that actually have some nice features comparatively, but I'm using materials that I've got left over. So I have some 2-inch PVC pipe and some 1-inch PVC pipe laying around. Went to the home store last night, got caps for one end, threaded sleeve for the other end, and then a threaded cap. Each one of these fittings was between $1 and $1.50. So, you know, in all reality, I've got $5 or $6 in each of these tubes, even with the 2-inch ones. But cost isn't the main thing for me. I want to use up some of this tube that is just laying around doing nothing, and I like making my own parts. Putting these together is real easy. Come up with a measurement, try to figure out any extra length added on by the ends, cut them, and then you just deburr them and glue them together. It's pretty straightforward. There are 2 different ways. I built this one with the end tube on the end, which works great when you got a brand new piece of rod in there because it's full length. You can grab it real easily. And so if you've got another rod, this is fairly thin, so I don't know how well it'll show up on camera. If you take this, I've used a little bit of it. You know, not every job do you use a full length of rod. So it's still 90% there, but if you put this rod in here, it's going to sit down below the end, and you're never going to see the end of that one. I don't have a real good solution for that. Basically, I just stick them in there, and every once in a while I dump it out, and I try to grab a shorter one if possible. One way, and Jody on Welding Tips and Tricks did this with his containers. He just used a coupling, and he actually cut the pipe in the middle, and I'm going to make one like this and see how it works. And this becomes just a slip fit. And that's how the commercial, if you buy the commercial tubes, the joint is in the middle here, so that if you've got a piece that's, part length, you'll be able to see it. It'll be sticking up. the design that I have, you can't see that. So that is a downside. I live with it. It's not a big deal to me. Part of the reason I don't necessarily want to do the slip fit, this 10 pound is fairly heavy, and if you put a slip fit joint in the middle here, it goes back to the, right now on my bench, I'm supported on the two ends. So this is going to try to kink like this one does. So that's what I'm trying to get away from. I'll try it once, see what it does. That is a nice way to do it. If you're storing them vertically, that I think would work pretty well. But so let me start cutting some pieces up and I'll show you what I got.
So when I'm gluing up PVC pipes, I've just found over the years that I find that the couplers and the connections are a little bit harder plastic than the actual tubing itself. So I like to put the primer, I like to do the coupler first, or whatever fitting, like I say. Prime that first, and then put the glue on it first, just because it gives it a few extra seconds to, for the glue to bite into the plastic. Seems to work good. And then the other thing is the big thing to remember is when you're doing PVC is to push it together, twist it a little bit, and then hold it. If you don't hold it, it actually will try to push the connection back off again. So 10-15 seconds is really all you need.
Now what I did previously to mark these was I just took a Sharpie, drew on them, and then I took an engraver and engraved the marking real quick, just because I didn't know if the Sharpie was going to wear off, or if I wiped it down with a cleaner or I spilled acetone on it that it would come off. So basically all I'm doing is just going through and doing the same. That has held up. These tubes are probably 2 years old now, so I have not wore them out. However, I got the engraver. I'm going to do it again that way just to...
Well, I don't know why. Because I feel like it.
Okay, so 1 pound of 309 stainless, that easily fits in this 1 inch. There's probably room in here for maybe even 3 pounds of stainless inside there. So I told you before that the 2-inch PVC will fit 10 pounds of ER 70-6, so steel wire. The aluminum, 5 pounds of aluminum just fits into the 2-inch. So I think you can see that's the 2-inch. Obviously aluminum's lighter, so there's more volume to it. So 5 pounds will fit into a 2-inch. This is the horizontal style, what I've been making all along. Here is the, I guess I'll call it the vertical style. So it's the one that has the joint in the middle of it, the slip joint. So you can leave that cap screwed on and just grab it and pull the cap off. I like this design. In a lot of ways it's a much nicer design. The jury's still out for me. I don't know how well it's going to fit. So this coupling here is a bit of a press fit, and what I would do if I'm going to use this long term, I would take some emery cloth or something like that and just take this down, the diameter down just a little bit so they slid together a little bit better. I don't know how well this is going to sit on my bench because these stick out a little bit. They can get bumped, knocked. So I'm not sure I'm going to keep that like that, so I'm not taking any emery cloth to it right now. The reason I tried one of these is I had two short pieces and I just wanted to use a coupler to put them together. Again, I'm using up some old materials. So I'm going to leave it like this for a little bit, try it. In theory, I like this design, but in practice on my bench right now, I don't think it's going to work. The other thing is at a later date, if I do store these vertically, you know, I come up with a different place to keep them, all I got to do is take the wire out of here, lop the thing in half, glue a coupler on one side, sand it down, and then I can make it this style very easily. So yeah, I'm real happy with this. Pretty inexpensive. Again, this is materials that was going to go to the landfill, so that was one of my prime concerns. Plus I like making my own stuff, so this seems to work pretty well for me. If you do want to make some of these yourself, any size, this is 1 inch. Schedule 40 PVC is probably overkill for this job, but that's what I had and it seems to work good. This is 1 inch. I don't think I'd go down to 3/4 inch. You know, so you could get 1 inch, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inch, all seem to work fairly well, reasonably inexpensive. So if you do want to do this, I cut these pipes to 35.5 inches. So by the time you glue the ends on, everything fit fairly well. That's it for today in the workshop. Thanks for coming out with me, and if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, leave me a thumbs down, but let me know why, and please subscribe to the channel. You can see more projects like this. Thanks again.